त्राणाय कारुण्य घनाघनत्यं प्राप्त सकल्यान् गुणान्नवश्य वन्दे गुरुचरणरविन्दम् निकुञ्जजूनारतिकेली सिद्धये निकुञ्जजूनारतिकेली सिद्धये जाजाली विद्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया निकुञ्जजूनारतिकेली सिद्धये जाजाली विद्युक्तिरपेक्षणीया तत्रातिदाक्षादतिबलवश्य वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणरविन्दं वन्दे गुरश्रीचरणरविन्दम् Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, living in sound in His Vani incarnation. And this is a point that we stress with all of our membership, that Prabhupada has never left us. But a lot of people think there must be an alternative guru now, some kind of godbrother of ours who wants to pose, posture, and pretend that they are Uttama Adhikaris. This is a great offense. And this is called, everyone, a cult. Cult. You may not be familiar with the cult, anti-cult movement, but I am. I had a chance to debate the famous, infamous Ted Patrick. Now, Ted Patrick, he came to Toronto, he kidnapped one of our members, Rudrani Devidasi, and it became a global, actually a national story of kidnapping an innocent person and trying to make them normal again by having them watch TV and eat meat and carry on with the regular activities of people engrossed in Maya, in material life. This is what's called normal. If you're a karmi, you're normal. If you're a devotee, you're abnormal. But this is the way of the modern world, where there are two types of persons, the devotees and the demons. Most people are demoniac. Yes. For example, in America, the main food that they eat is the slaughter of innocent animals daily, and the numbers are extravagant. billions and billions and billions of innocent animals killed by the sanction of the government and the government leaders. And by the way, these people, all of them, are doomed to take birth in a lower species. And the leaders of these countries that sanction this have to accept 1/6 of the total karma. Wow. Can you imagine? What to speak of these people that pose as gurus? They want to be a Diksha guru. They want to accept so many disciples. And what happens to them? They have to accept the karma of all their disciples. So we have a fake guru in India who is a accumulator of multiple disciples. He has over 70,000 disciples. And if you look at his photograph, you see he's been destroyed physically by this karmic reaction. It's minimized right now, even though it looks rather grotesque, I must say, and to anybody that sees him. But at the same time, his karma, the reaction for it, will be far greater in the future. And this is because they've deviated from Srila Prabhupada's instructions for personal gain. They're in what's called the guru business. And it's a good business. People like to go into business to be successful, to get money, to have fame, celebrity status. Everybody wants, not everybody, I'm sorry to say that, but a lot of people, they want to be celebrities. And you want to be a celebrity in a little group like ISKCON? It's a small group. On the world stage of things, it's a very small group. Look at this Taylor Swift lady. She went around the world on a tour. And she collected $1 billion of money for herself by simply singing in front of millions and millions of people. Now that's a big group. And even she's small. So these people in the ISKCON guru cults, they're leading small organizations, but they carry heavy karma because of their responsibility. I want to go to a section I selected to read from a posting that I saw online. And Rupa Goswami, if you could go to that right now, if it's possible. It talks about how a disciple should follow the order of the spiritual master. And Prabhupada's explaining that because his disciples were listening to him and not changing things, but going forward, he was very successful. Oneness means, so how in the ISKCON society there's no disagreement with what Prabhupada orders. Shama Sundar, he says that real religion is a mystic oneness with God. And Prabhupada says, yes, oneness means that I agree with God. God says that you surrender. I say, yes, I surrender. God says to Arjuna, you fight. He fights. This is oneness. That we have no disagreement in any point with God, that is oneness. Just like in this institution, our Krishna consciousness. When I say anything, there is no disagreement of any of the disciples. It is being done, taking God's representative, Krishna's representative, so similarly with God also. But what am I doing? I'm simply taking the order from God, and I'm disseminating the same knowledge. I've accepted surrender unto Krishna as my life. I'm teaching others, you also surrender. This is called disciplic succession. There is no disagreement with God. It is not that I am. That means one who is God conscious. He is a mystic. So I've mentioned this before, that Prabhupada was saying to us, there's more in the conversation, but we'll go on, take that later in our discussion. But Prabhupada was saying miracle. People are saying, and I quote this regularly because it's so vivid, the understanding that he was delivering to us. To us. He said, people say that I've created all these miracles. What was the miracle? That he was able to come from India with nothing and in a few short years enlist thousands of disciples to help him propagate, Western disciples, by the way, not from India, from the West. He was rejected in India, came to the West, and he recruited them, and they helped him spread Krishna consciousness to every town and village in the world, fulfilling the prophecy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. You have to judge an action by its results, everyone. Just like our movement, our group, the Hare Krishna Society and Prabhupada Disciples Association, we have results. We're printing books, we're distributing books, we're making devotees, our group. So I don't mean make in the sense that we craft them, but we're cultivating people into Krishna consciousness, and our membership is expanding by the work of all of you. Oh yes, it is. And we have quality people. So Prabhupada, he came here and he created a miracle, which was the Krishna consciousness movement. But he qualified it. He said, I know not miracles. Miracles are many. But if there's any miracle, this is the most important part of it, of his statement. I did not change anything. I simply repeated what my spiritual master taught me. And thus, the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading throughout the world without any change. But this change disease that the American devotees introduced, and now it's expanded everywhere, has destroyed the ISKCON movement and the influence of the Gaudiya Math, who Prabhupada taught us. Do not associate with my godbrothers. I'm in a debate with this character, Bhaktadas, William somebody, Benedict, who supports the Gaudiya Math. He gives his money to it. He's a Prabhupada disciple. And he's a supporter of the ISKCON guru system. And he criticizes me publicly online because we're promoting the Vani incarnation, that Prabhupada still is with us. He's criticizing. All we're doing is saying Prabhupada is alive. The Ritvik system, we're not Ritviks. These people are constantly labeling us as Ritviks instead of acknowledging we are God brothers. Brothers. But these brothers do not agree with offensive behavior of independent individuals who actually do nothing to make devotees or spread Krishna consciousness with anybody. No. They're totally internalized. They do not preach. I tried to explain to them. We have over 2,000 classes. Come to them, see what you think. Join us, become part of this mission to protect Prabhupada's legacy. No, thank you. Okay. No, thank you. You know what I say to you, Mr. Godbrother or God? Don't waste my time, because time is very valuable. I just spoke to one of my godbrothers in Philadelphia. And he claims he's serving the Hinduized ISKCON movement in North America. That's all it is. And in India, just see, there was a big law case that was settled this week between ISKCON Bangalore and ISKCON India. Now, the real question is, would Prabhupada be pleased with this? Don't try to act in such a way that you want to see Krishna. Act in such a way that Krishna wants to see you. Is this something that Krishna wants to see? That they spent 40 million US dollars between both parties to establish who owns one temple, or whatever the case is. This is Maya. And if people can't see that, that's their problem, not ours. And don't waste our time. Because that's all you're doing. Talking nonsense. Nothing to do with Krishna. Oh, we got the title. We're now in charge of a building. So what? Buildings, they come and go. But the truth will not leave us if we protect it diligently, and it remains unchanged like Jayadvaita is doing now. I saw the version of his new, enlarged, revised, edited Bhagavad Gita with a new cover. Yashodanandana Prabhu. He has a new cover. He thought this cover here is not adequate. No, this is not adequate. We're going to improve it. Do not change anything. And yet people, individuals, small-minded, arrogant, individual godbrothers think they know better than our spiritual master. And I accuse this man on the line today. You do not read Prabhupada's books diligently, and you're not chanting your rounds. I know he drinks alcohol. I know. I also know a lot about him from other people that have revealed his character, where he lives. I'm not accusing him. We're all fallen. I'm a fallen soul. I've made mistakes. Yes, I have in my life. But we're now on the path of correction, reformation, very much so. And we're working with all kinds of sincere people like all of you in our movement, the Hare Krishna Society, with all of you. I would sooner work with all of you than work with 10,000 deviant followers of a bogus guru. What point? Where are you going to go when you die, my friend? What kind of circumstances are you going to be in, Jayapataka, when you leave this earth? Be careful. You're dealing with laws that you do not recognize or understand according to karma. Very serious. You offend the spiritual master, you disobey his instructions of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, you deviate, you go to court, you spend $40 million on a lawsuit that has no value, and what do you think your karma will be when you die? I think all of us know what the answer is. Pink robes, different titles, different types of success materially by guru business will not allow you to go back home, back to Godhead. And people hide behind Prabhupada's dhoti and pretend. That's all they do. And Yashoda constantly reminds us, pretending, posturing, and posing. And this is not the way back to Godhead. What is the secret, Mother Rachisha? You serve our spiritual master in his Vani incarnation to the best of your ability, humbly. We're not trying to be big devotees. We're trying to be sincere devotees, surrendered devotees, committed devotees to Prabhupada's Vani incarnation and the devotional service that he's giving all of us according to his unchanged divine instructions. This it's clear as a bell for us, and it's like a foggy city for these people in these bogus cults that run around the world for profit, adoration, and distinction. This is not the way Lord Chaitanya or Srila Prabhupada wanted his movement to be led. These people are misleading, misinforming, and indoctrinating people in bogus philosophy that will die in the course of time along with them. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's see if I missed anything on my notes. No. And we'll move forward with our wonderful classes. On the Bhagavad Gita this morning, led by the amazing, I know he won't like that, speaker, Yashodanandana Prabhu. He's amazing. He's phenomenal. He's a saint for me, and I know for all of you. And we'll move forward, and we're going to have the kirtan to introduce the class with the Jaya Radha Madhava prayers by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who lives with us in his words, in his Vani incarnation. Hare Krishna.
Singh. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Nandana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Nandana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha सदस्यमान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskrityam Narayanam namaskrityam Naram chaiva narottamam Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayam udirayet Tato jayam udirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:2:4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. As we do every week, we read a few selected verses that were introduced by Srila Prabhupada himself in 1966 when he started his preaching mission in America in New York City. It should be noted that this reading and discussion is based on the original 1972 Macmillan edition, the non-adulterated, non-modified, authorized original edition. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaham. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Raghunatan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaguna Lalita Sri Vishakanvitamscha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami, along with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, as well as Raghunath Das and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopala Bhatta, and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas, and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna, along with their associates Sri Lalita and Vishaka. E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostuti. O my dear Krishna, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold, and who is the queen of Vrindavana. You are the daughter of King Vrishabhanu, and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We will proceed with our reading today. We are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 13, text number 14. Sarvataha panipadam tat sarvatokshishiro mukham sarvatah shrutimalloke sarvamavritya tishtati sarvataha, everywhere. Pani, hands. Padam, legs. Tat, that. Sarvataha, everywhere. Akshi, eyes. Shiraha, head. Mukham, face. Sarvataha, everywhere. Shrutimat, hearing. Loke, in the world. Sarvam, everywhere. Avritya, covering. Tishtati, exist. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes and faces, and he hears everything. In this way, the Supersoul exists. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. As the sun exists, diffusing its unlimited rays, so does the Supersoul, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He exists in his all-pervading form, and in him exist all the individual living entities, beginning from the first great teacher, Brahma, down to the small ants. There are unlimited heads, legs, hands, and eyes, and unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the Supersoul. Therefore, the Supersoul is all-pervading. The individual soul, however, cannot say that he has his hands, legs, and eyes everywhere. That is not possible. If he thinks that although under ignorance, he is not conscious that his hands and legs are diffused all over, but when he attains to proper knowledge, he will come to that stage, his thinking is contradictory. This means that the individual soul, having become conditioned by material nature, is not supreme. The supreme is different from the individual soul, The Supreme Lord can extend his hands without limit. The individual soul cannot. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that if anyone offers him a flower or a fruit or a little water, he accepts. If the Lord is a far distance away, how can he accept things? This is the omnipotence of the Lord. Even though he is situated in his own abode, far, far away from earth, he can extend his hand to accept what anyone offers. That is his potency. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Goloka eva nivasati. Although he is always engaged in pastimes in his transcendental planet, he is all-pervading. The individual soul cannot claim that he is all-pervading. Therefore, this verse describes the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead, not the individual soul. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanam Janashala Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Gurave Namaham Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandana Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshataham Hadadana Srinam Danter Idam Yache Punaha Punaha Srimadaru Papadam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavato Smyaham Sadadaso asmi sarvata tat kripa pikshako nityam tat presasat karomi svam vanchakal Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As we've mentioned several times, Srila Prabhupada's purports are full of detailed transcendental knowledge. In this particular verse, it's very important to understand the difference between the individual living entity and the supreme living entity, Lord Krishna. What is that difference? One is the master, one is the servant. Now, what is explained here is the position of the Supersoul. The Supersoul in everyone's heart, called the Antaryami, is also called Sakshi. Sakshi means the witness. He's witnessing the activities of the conditioned soul. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, there is description of two birds sitting on a tree, Dva Suparna Sakaya Sayuja. That two birds are sitting on the tree. One of them is watching the activities. The other one is trying to enjoy the activities in the material world. This is a description of the individual soul and the Supersoul, the Paramatma. Now, what Lord Krishna is explaining very nicely here is that the Supersoul is everywhere. Prabhupada explains, he exists in his all-pervading form, and in him exist all the individual living entities, beginning from the first great teacher, Brahma, down to the small ants. There are unlimited heads, legs, hands, and eyes in unlimited living entities. All are existing in and on the Supersoul. Now, this is quite accurate description of the difference between our position and Krishna's position. Very nice here. There's that quote I was referring to. Thank you, Neil Sharma Prabhu. I don't know where this is from, but we'll read it. Although the two birds, from Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 to 6, although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord, and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 22, purport. The Jiva soul is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body. But as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntarily surrender unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.2 and the Shvetashvatara Upanishad 4.7 confirm this. Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno nishaya sochati muhyamanaha jushtam yadapasyati anyamisham asya mahimanamiti vitashokaha. Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to his friend, who is the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjuna has now turned his face toward his eternal friend Krishna and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation. Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight, so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. I find that in this purport on this text 14, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Goloka eva nivasati. Last night I did a little research on this particular text. There is on the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 19, text 154. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19, text 154, Srila Prabhupada explains, being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravana Kirtana, the bhakti creeper grows more and more. In this way, it attains the shelter of the desired tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindavana, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport, in the Brahma Samhita 537, it is said, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabhirya eva nijarupata yakkalabihi Goloka eva nivasatya kilatma bhutu Govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. He resides in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure, and who embodies extensions of her bodily form, and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. In the spiritual world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna has expended himself in his spiritual potency. He has his eternal form of bliss and knowledge, Sachidananda Vigraha. Everything in the Goloka Vrindavan planet is a spiritual expansion of Sachidananda. Everyone there is of the same potency, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. The relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his servitor is Chinmaya Rasa. Krishna and his entourage and paraphernalia are of the same Chinmaya potency. When the Chinmaya Rasa potency goes through the material potency, it becomes all-pervading. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists on his own spiritual planet, Goloka Vrindavana, he is present everywhere. Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam. He is present within all universes, although they are innumerable. He is present within the atom. Ishvaraha Sarvabhutanam Riddeshi Arjuna Tishtati. He is also present within the heart of all living entities. This is all-pervading, all-pervasive potency. So this is a very important point to understand, because we see Prabhupada is describing in this purport. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that if anyone offers him a flower or a fruit or a little water, he accepts it. If the Lord is a far distance away, how can he accept things? This is the omnipotence of the Lord. Even though he is situated in his own abode, far, far away from earth, he can extend his hand to accept what anyone offers. Now, this is a very important point, because we see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti uparitam. That if this bhakti is involved, if what offers with love and devotion, automatically Krishna will accept. Krishna is not in need of any offerings. We all know the story from the Mahabharata. Duryodhana invited Krishna for a big feast, very large feast. And Krishna, some way or other, refused the feast of Duryodhana. But when he saw Vidura, the pure devotee, Vidura was so excited to see Krishna, he peeled a banana, threw the banana away, and gave Krishna the peel. And Krishna started to eat the peel. Why? Because Vidura had love and devotion, and Duryodhana did not. That is the difference. It doesn't matter what position one is. One should learn the art and science to offer to Krishna under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. Interestingly, this week, Vijay Pandit Prabhu sent me some correspondence from a devotee, because we put out an article recently, how to offer bhoga to the Supreme Lord and to the deities. So somebody criticized, oh, that was in the beginning, all these quotations from Prabhupada, that was in the beginning, and Prabhupada changed all that. What he told the devotees to do the Archan Padati. And my answer to that is the current Archan Padati is a translation from a Gaudiya Math book on puja. Prabhupada's original instructions in 1976 was to make a book 20 pages long based on Hari Bhakti Vilas. What is their book based on? Did they show this book from the Gaudiya Math to Srila Prabhupada? Did Prabhupada approve in writing that book? Now, that book does have a lot of nice prayers, and I've personally checked every one of them. They're bona fide. The prayers are bona fide. Many of them are from Chaitanya Charitamrita, from books of the Goswamis, from Hari Bhakti Vilas, from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. The prayers are definitely bona fide, but the procedures, where are these procedures coming from? Why did they change the order of offering both to the deities? We know during Prabhupada's manifested presence, there was a very specific way. I know Dharma Bhavana knows this, Krishna Katha knows this, many devotees on this program know this very well. Prabhupada instituted a very specific way how to offer bhoga or foodstuff to the deities. They change everything on the basis, well, now we have living gurus, we have to offer it to them first. Did Prabhupada ever say that? Did Prabhupada tell them to discontinue the way to offer the bhoga and the artik? There's no record of that. Now, why do we keep bringing up the same kind of argument in different ways? Same thing about initiation. Same thing about changing the books. The instructions of Srila Prabhupada, this is the same as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu coming and telling us, do it this way through Srila Prabhupada. You can't change or invent a new instruction just to say, well, in the Shastra somewhere it says this, or this Sampradaya does this, or this other Sampradaya says that. We're not qualified to comment on other Sampradayas. Neither are we big Sanskrit scholars to comment on what it says in books like Hari Bhaktivilas or other Sanskrit books, but we do know that the instructions of Srila Prabhupada are direct instructions coming from the personality of Godhead himself. Why do we say this? Can somebody look it up? Either Neil Shyama Prabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 5, text 71. Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, chapter 5, text 71. We'll read that together and understand what Prabhupada is saying to clarify these big scholars who think they can change everything. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Neil Shyama Prabhu, very valuable. Ye sabha sunilun Krishna raser sagar, Brahmadi devara isab nahai gochar. What I have heard from Ramananda Rai is like a nectarian ocean of discourses about Krishna. Even the demigods, beginning with Lord Brahma, cannot understand all these topics. Can we get text 71? 71. Until it 571. Ramandarai kata kahile nahai, Manushya nahirai Krishna bhakirasamai. I cannot properly describe the discourses of Ramananda Roy, for he is not an ordinary human being. He's fully absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, purport by Srila Prabhupada. One is forbidden to accept the guru or spiritual master as an ordinary human being. Guru Shu Naramatihi. When Ramananda Roy spoke to Pradyumna Mishra could understand that Ramananda Roy was not an ordinary human being. A spiritually advanced person who acts with authority as the spiritual master speaks as the supreme personality of God. It dictates from within. Thus, it is not he that is personally speaking. When a pure devotee or spiritual master speaks, what he says should be accepted as having been directly spoken by the supreme personality of Godhead in the Parampara system. This is very clear. It's very direct. It's very specific. When devotees or so-called followers claim that they can interpret Prabhupada's statements just because they were told to manage a certain temple or zone, then the Maya comes in. Then all the chaos and disturbances comes in. And this is a very important point, because many devotees, I get communication from many devotees, and they ask me, why has this gone on? Why did Krishna allow this? Why did Lord Chaitanya allow this? Well, there's many reasons. Sorry. First of all, Krishna is not going to interfere with your individual's free will. I gave the example the other day how in the Bhagavad Gita, that verse, Sarvasya Smriti Apochahanamcha, that I give knowledge, jnanam, smritir, apohanam cha. I give knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. These three things come from Krishna himself. So Prabhupada gave the example that the Mayavadis who want to forget Krishna, they interpret Bhagavad Gita in different ways. So what happens? Mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and am the knower of the Vedas. Prabhupada explained in one lecture how the Mayavadis are always trying to forget Krishna, to avoid Krishna, that Krishna will give them the intelligence how to interpret the verses of Bhagavad Gita in one way. Prabhupada says, so you interpret the verse of Bhagavad Gita in this way, you interpret that other verse in that way. In this way, they will never understand Krishna. Now, this is a very important point. So those who want to deviate from the instruction of the Acharya, those who want to misinterpret the instructions of the Acharya and concoct so many different things, they will never understand the instruction of the spiritual master. Although they're very proudly, falsely proud, think that they really know, that they really understand Prabhupada's instructions. Oh, really? You really understand Prabhupada's instructions? And why did you change them so much? Why did you deviate so much? Why? Why did you go to individuals that Prabhupada said acted in whimsical ways and disobeyed the instruction of their spiritual master for consultation? What is that nonsense? So many nonsense changes in whimsical ways. And we know that Prabhupada warned that a great institution was lost on account of whimsical ways. So many nonsense things have been introduced. Do not be misled by the false propaganda of ambitious persons who have become very expert at posing and pretending to be acharyas and spiritual masters, while simultaneously deviating from the instruction of the acharya. You cannot have two contradictory philosophies coming from two corners of your mouth. That is totally illogical. We see so many experts giving interpretation. Oh, Prabhupada says this, Prabhupada says that, this means this means that. But they cannot even read what is stated in the text. They cannot even produce the text. Why did these individuals conceal these very important discussions that took place with Srila Prabhupada in 1977 at the first Mayapur meeting in March of 1978? Why didn't they discuss it publicly? Why didn't they bring the proof of their so-called alleged appointment for everyone to see? All the temple presidents, all the sannyasis, all the devotees, all the senior devotees, everybody, because they had their own whimsical ways, their own personal ambition they wanted to fulfill. And this nonsense idea of suppressing discussion, concealing information, concealing evidence, the result is a total chaos. Do not listen to such misled individuals. Not that I say so, because Prabhupada says so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 4, Text 1, Prabhupada says, no one should be willing to hear from one who does not represent the original Acharya. Do these people really represent Srila Prabhupada? We know from our review of Lilamrita, there are so many nonsense statements that have been made, so many speculations, so many deviations from the proper understanding according to Srila Prabhupada himself. Do not be victimized by the false propaganda of these people. Take shelter of the Acharya. Worship the Acharya. Do not accept their revised change books. Very important point. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Glories to Srila Prabhupada, and thank you everyone for attending these classes on Krishna consciousness as explained by people who know the truth and understand the truth without any adulteration. Yes. Because it's very important to get good association, not bad association. And that's the situation that we face in life, good and bad association. And why is it that when people read Bhakti and Amber, why do they read something and interpret it differently? Because today we're reading from the Gita how Krishna is present as the Paramatma in the soul of all living entities, and that Krishna has various representatives, and in our particular case, in disciplic succession, Srila Prabhupada is our representative. And through him, the ambassador, we get an insight into the spiritual realm, which is magnificent. And how is it that some people misinterpret that, misrepresent it? Because that's the nature of material life. To be controlled by your false ego. Yes. Mind, intelligence, and ego. And because of that, people preach Krishna consciousness based on their own mental concoction and misunderstanding. And what is the reason for that, Amber? Because they don't have the capacity to understand. It could be from a previous life. They never really surrendered in their previous life. And in this life, they've been sent here to create chaos amongst the sincere people. Remember, all of this is a pastime. This is a transcendental pastime of Lord Chaitanya, of Srila Prabhupada, and this disciplic succession. Now let's ask the question, how does one have the capacity to understand something that's they hear and not change it? Because they are personally, spiritually surrendered. Some people, they may claim to be surrendered, but they're not. They're fakes. They're pretenders. They may preach the philosophy, but they don't study the books. And Prabhupada used to say that often. The problem with 90% of my leaders, they don't study the books. And we see that when we discuss the philosophy with others, and they just concoct it because they don't have capacity. They're neophytes pretending, maybe even less than neophyte. And it's interesting to note, Yashodanandana Prabhu, I called somebody a neophyte. You're a neophyte. And they got offended. Why? Why would you be offended when you're lucky that you're being classified as a neophyte student? What does neophyte mean? You're a new student. What does it mean that you're neophyte, that you should be open-minded, that you should listen? Not block the mind, block the ears, because you don't want to hear. It's like people that ask you a question. Prabhu, what's this? What's that? Blah, blah, blah. And you give them the answer, and they don't hear it. They go, no, I don't accept that. But they use the same word, the famous word that most people use. They listen, and then all of a sudden, but it's this way, really. Well, why did you ask me if you're going to tell me, but I think it's something else other than what you just heard? Because they don't have the capacity. And we shouldn't condemn them. No, it's not something to do. But we should understand where they're at. They're neophytes at best. And they have to learn. For example, we're reading all of these passages. And some of us get it and some of us don't. Especially for those that are surrendered, those people that chant their rounds every day, those people that follow the four regulated principles, those people that are surrendered to the spiritual master as the representative of God in his Vani incarnation, they get some understanding, yes. But those other people that pretend, posture, pose, and are in the guru business, they're not potent. And they don't have the capacity. Technically, they're neophytes. Oh, don't say that. The guy's a sannyasi. It doesn't mean that he isn't a neophyte. He doesn't know what he's saying. Don't think that being accused of a neophyte is an offense. Someone said to me today, one of my godbrothers who used to be a president in San Diego or somewhere like that, Bhaktidas, he says to me, "You're so arrogant." What? You think you know? Know what? If I repeat the words of my spiritual master when he told us not to go to the Gaudiya Math, Bhaktidas, and you go there, you donate there, you run around India pretending you're some kind of great Hindu follower of Lord Jagannath, and you don't listen to Srila Prabhupada's instructions, you misinterpret them to suit your own personal goals, how am I supposed to look at you? You're a neophyte. Well, how can you're so arrogant to accuse me of being a neophyte. Then go away. Go listen to the people in the Gaudiya Math. Go listen to the supporters of the ISKCON guru system. Enjoy yourself and see what happens to you at the time of death when you deviate from Srila Prabhupada's instructions because you do not have the capacity. And Amber, you're right. They're motivated by false ego. That's right. Profit, adoration, and distinction. They want fame. Everybody wants fame. That's the way it is. Especially people that have money. They have money, they think, I have money, but I'm not famous. So how can I use my money to become famous? And in this way, they think they'll be happy by developing their material position. This is Maya. Remember, this material world is an illusion. It comes like a flash in eternity. Like the turning on and off of a light switch, everyone. But people think, I'll live on forever. I'll get a statue when I die. The birds can come and poop on it. Oh yeah, oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to say that. And in a few short moments, guess what happens to their legacy? Look at the legacy of Gopal Krishna. Is he remembered in Canada now? No. In India, a few people. Why do I say a few? Well, maybe 50,000 or 100,000. Is that a lot of people? That's nobody. You live in this artificial state of mind. That's what it is. You're bewildered. You neophyte. You are offensive to your God brothers, but you can't see it. You neophyte. And this is going on in the name of Sanatan Dharma. Terrible. They don't have the capacity. Why? For example, some of the devotees, they claim to be big devotees, but they don't know how to chant japa. Is japa a great thing? Well, for the person that chants it, it is. But if you don't, you're bewildered. And then you speculate, and then you talk, and you blabbermouth your stupidity to other people. And yet, what happens is many people become fooled by them. Yes. And they become their followers. They become their disciples. They become their parrots. And they repeat their stupidity to others. And this indoctrination carries on in the name of Vaishnava tradition. And this is unfortunate. Because if people like yourselves, all of you that come to the classes are short, but the days are long, and you carry on and you chant your rounds and you study the books and you listen to Prabhupada's lectures and you come to our YouTube channel and you become revived with this motivation to protect the legacy of Srila Prabhupada with association with like-minded devotees, Vijaya Pandit, motivated to do something every day, not sit around and talk, but serve. And we're looking for people to serve, help us. We have lots of service. If you want to be in touch with us, please do. There are ways and means, and we'll be able to share that. Because hypocrisy is the key word of the modern Kali Yuga. People are hypocrites. They're liars. They're cheaters. And they're going to use those tools to mislead people, like in the example of the hypocrite Stephen, whatever his last name was. I forgot it already. I don't want to know it. Stephen Satsrup, author of the unauthorized biography of Srila Prabhupada. That's what he is, unauthorized, concoctor, no capacity to understand spiritual life, but he pretends. And he wrote this so-called history of Srila Prabhupada's life. And we're doing a review of it with Yashodanandana Prabhu and his team to reveal the hypocrisy of these people in how they indoctrinate people and mislead people by writing these books and distributing them worldwide to control others to be in their bogus guru system. And we'll move to this section of hypocrisy revealed with Yashodanandana Prabhu in this review. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you for your comments here. We're continuing our review of the Lilamrita. This is called Lilamrita Review. We are currently on page number 8 of section number 3. And we will read in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, text number 6. The Lilamrita, Prabhupada explains, a person who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge. The Lilamrita theorizes that the Nitya Siddha, one who lives solely to carry out the order of Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, had to struggle to continue his mission. He had to work in the usual material way in order to achieve success. We are quoting here from Lilamrita, book number 2, page 48. Seeing him from a distance, a tiny figure walking Manhattan streets and avenues amongst many other tiny figures, a foreigner whose visa had almost run out, we come out upon only the external appearance of Srila Prabhupada. These days of struggle were real enough and very difficult, but his transcendental consciousness was always predominant. He was not living in Manhattan consciousness, but was absorbed in dependence upon Krishna, just as when he just as when on the Jaladuta he had suffered his heart attacks. The reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita had supplied him the nectarine of life. However, we see in Lamrita, book number 1, Roman numeral 18, his struggle to continue his mission was part of his preparation. Lilamrita, book 1, page 239. Bhaktivedanta Swami worked hard to raise enough donations. Webster's dictionary defines struggle to make violent, strenuous efforts against opposition. Shastra, however, explains that such a Mahabhagavata may speak of himself in terms of his struggling, or how he has not done as well as he would have liked for Krishna, or how he is lower than the worm or the straw in the street. But this is not to be taken literally. If we see the pure devotee appear to struggle, perhaps we're actually seeing a reflection of the actual struggle which we are undergoing within our own minds. Srila Prabhupada explains in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, text 37. Liberation means becoming free from the relativities of the world. Unless one is self-realized, he has to undergo the dual struggles of the relative worlds. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 30, text 24, again and again the Lord is very much interested in increasing the influence of his devotees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has unlimited powers, and he wants to see that his devotees are also entrusted with unlimited powers. Krishna does everything while he arranges for his devotee to take the credit. From Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, text 15. Thus the Lord conducted the battle of Kurukshetra according to his own plan. The other party was equipped with all military strength. Excuse me. With all military strength, supported by big generals like Bhishma, Drona, Salya. And it would have been physically impossible for Arjuna to win the battle had the Lord not helped him by every kind of tactic. Such tactics are generally followed by every statesman, even in modern warfare, but they're all done materially by powerful espionages, military tactics, and diplomatic maneuvers. But because Arjuna was the Lord's affectionate devotee, the Lord did all this himself without personal anxiety by Arjuna. That is the way of devotional service of the Lord. In Bhagavatam, Canto number 4, Chapter 8, text 82, those who are devotees therefore have no problems in the material world. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Devotees are free from all problems because they're fully surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For a devotee, everything in this world is very pleasing because he knows how to use everything in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The Lilamrita speculates that the Nitya Siddha devotee Srila Prabhupada was shaken due to the conflict of mundane family life and the orders of his spiritual master. From Lilamrita, book 1, page 118, he knew it was not an ordinary dream, but their request seemed so difficult and unlikely. Take sannyas. At least it was not something he could do immediately. Lilamrita, book 1, page 118 again. He went on with his duties, but remained shaken by the dream. Further up, Lilamrita, book 1, page 140. And again, Abhay had to put the dream aside. He was a householder with many responsibilities. To take sannyas, which means to give up everything. He had to earn money. He now had 5 children. Why is Guru Maharaj asking me to take sannyas? He thought it was not possible now. And we will continue this reading tomorrow morning during the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Yes, very revealing. He was shaken. A very human story, as the professor from Chicago concluded after reading this unauthorized biography of Satsrup. Terrible and completely misleading. And yet they're distributing thousands of copies of these to bewildered, conditioned souls looking for truth, and they're misleading them. And this is going on, and we're supposed to sit back and do nothing? No. There is a responsibility to preach the truth. This is the battle that we're in. The battle of truth, Vijaya Pandit. Not hypocrisy, not misrepresentation, not indoctrination. And let's get a few comments from our board of devotees this morning, people that want to contribute. And I see a hand up of our friend in Florida, Neela Sharma. Go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Prabhupada. My question today is regarding this hot topic, the hot news which have come about the lawsuit between ISKCON Bangalore and ISKCON Mumbai. My question, Yashodanandan Prabhu, is especially devotees like you, disciples like you, who have been ostracized, who have been pushed away, and there are, like you, thousands of them. I was privy to an audience to a couple in Prabhupada village who were once disciples of Radhanath Swami, and then they got the truth from you, and so you were able to reinitiate them with Srila Prabhupada, for which they're very thankful, and they're continuing their sadhana even today. And even they are banned from certain temples. They had very nice service in LA temple, and then they were gone. My understanding is that we as Prabhupada Anugas, we are as people, disciples trying to put Srila Prabhupada back into his original position of Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru of ISKCON. Shouldn't we be jubilating about this whole lawsuit? Because this is the place now again where GBC has for the first time met with defeat on a big scale basis, on a large scale basis, where now we can broadcast this message that Srila Prabhupada is the only Acharya of ISKCON. And so that this is like a big boost in the arms of all those people who are trying to put Srila Prabhupada back in the mainstream. So what are your thoughts about this? And is this jubilation, what you call, qualified or is it proper? Hare Krishna.
Well, this litigation has been going on for about 20 years, and it was finally brought to a close by the Supreme Court in India in New Delhi a day and a half ago. And we, Vishwakarma, myself, and all the members of HKS PDA, we congratulate Madhu Pandit and the temple for their long pursuit of justice for Srila Prabhupada to establish. But this is basically a property dispute. I don't characterize it as a dispute settling the issue of what initiation system Prabhupada wanted. That was not the issue in this case. The issue was the ownership of the Bangalore temple, and the court has decided in their favor, and congratulations to them for that. Our point is that devotees from all sides, whether it is ISKCON, the Gaudiya Math, different Ritvik groups, what they should do is very carefully study Srila Prabhupada's original books, distribute Prabhupada's original books, and practice the instructions in these books as they were given. And that this applies to everybody. It is not meant just for one group, it's meant for all groups, all the devotees. It's unfortunate that the Vaishnava society has been divided by those who lack the capacity or who are too contaminated with different personal ambitions to really see things properly. That is the reason why these things happen. Why is it that the ISKCON spent over $20 million on this lawsuit harassing these devotees because they wanted to worship Prabhupada and follow his instructions? Why? If ISKCON is so secure of their position, why is it that there's devotees all over the world giving up on these people, on the leadership of these people? It's not just a few people within our group, everywhere. There's people everywhere, in Europe, in Asia, in America, in Canada, in India. People who see the misinterpretation of Prabhupada's instruction and the whimsical ways of what they have done. This is why this case in Bangalore took place, because of whimsical behavior on the part of the ISKCON leadership. Why did they spend $20 million wasting money? How many books could you print with 20 million US dollars? Just think of that. How many people could be further benefited in their Krishna consciousness with $20 million? There's plenty of money for them with their jet set lifestyle, with their big feasts, with their big conferences, with their big self-promotion. There's always money for that. To pay expensive lawyers, they'll dig out money. When it comes to helping devotees, helping children, helping destitute devotees, then there's no money. This is an example of whimsical behavior. Prabhupada did not want this waste of money. Prabhupada gave clear instructions in 1977, and only by speculation, politics, suppression of discussion did this nonsense system come about. This appointment system, this voting system. What are all these nonsense ideas from? Prabhupada criticized the whole Gaudiya Math over this appointment issue. And you think that he would do the same thing for his society? That's not what he did. And if you want to debate it, we welcome you. We'll form a committee of 4 or 5 people, and we'll debate 4 or 5 of your people. But if you can't answer our questions, are you going to surrender? Are you going to accept and change your ways? Oh, they won't. They'll keep arguing forever, like madmen. So this is a very important point, because devotees should not be misled by the false propaganda of the GBC of ISKCON. This is why this lawsuit took place. The false ego of the leaders of ISKCON, especially in Mayapur, Bombay, and Delhi. Nonsense, whimsical ways, wasting money. Hare Krishna. That's what I think of it. Thank you for your.
Yes, it's unfortunate. And it goes on in the material world, Nilashama, that there'll be disputes between parties and money will be wasted. And it's no different since Prabhupada's demise that this has been going on. And it's 40 million US because their 2 parties had to spend a huge amount of money to create a defense teams to come to this settlement. So it's Maya. It's pure Maya. And it has nothing to do with self-realization. And this is the business of the neophytes, people that are simple, they're learning, but they won't listen. Why won't they listen? Because they don't want to listen. And they put up all these arguments. It's called, Nilashama, sectarianism. Sectarianism is rampant, especially in the small movement of the Krishna Consciousness Society that Prabhupada formed. I say small because it's not like other organizations that are far, far bigger, like the Catholic Church. Is this gone like the Catholic Church? No. Does it control trillions of dollars? No. Does it have 1 billion followers? We're a small group, but still, even within a small group like this, there are so many deviant fools that are taking advantage of Prabhupada's glorious mission and using it for their own personal purposes. It's called the guru business. That's all it is. You want to go in business and take advantage of people, become famous, become rich. As Yashodanandana says, and you fly around like some kind of rock star celebrity, go ahead. And soon, you'll be gone. And the laws of karma will impact your life. Dharma Bhavana in Dallas, Texas, please, if you could comment on today's program. I hope he's there. I don't see his face. Okay.
Hare Krishna, I'm here, yeah.
There it is. There he goes. There he goes. He's back.
Okay, there we go. Hare Krishna.
Hariva, Hariva.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed the first part of the program. I did have a kind of a comment to make. It was, but we're talking about the property dispute, but it seemed like there's a little bit of philosophical point also, in that the Supersoul seemed to kind of inspire or speak through one or more of the judges. That's kind of the philosophical part that I take from this. And another comment we had, I remember about 20 years ago, I was in the Dallas Temple Room and watching the Pujari offering the different flowers and items, directly to the deities. And I said, oh, wow, this is a new change. What has happened here? And I asked the head Pujari, and the head Pujari said, oh, this is the new way we're doing things now. And I was thinking to myself, wow, the devotees are taught not to ask questions, why make these changes? They just took it as some kind of change that just happened, and nobody, without even asking questions. So that's just a small comments I had today. Thank you, Haribol. Gorse Prabhupada.
Yeah, what we talked about was capacity in the opening section. Do people have the capacity to understand the philosophy with one common focus? Because back in the day, it appeared that most people followed Srila Prabhupada solely as the leader. And it was an easy way for the movement to expand, because the leader of the movement was the bona fide representative of Lord Chaitanya. But now people have lost that focus because it's become sectarian cults. Everybody's following Radhanath, Jayapataka. They're not working together, by the way. That sectarianism is very blatant. For example, if you go to Atlanta, you're going to hear from the people at Krishna Life, whatever the heck that is, that Bhakti Vikash is the top guru. You go to Gitanagri, and it's Satsrup is the top guru. If you show up at Radhanath's temple, he's the reincarnation of Lord Chaitanya. Did you see the way he danced the other day at the kirtan, eh? So these people are all in sectarian cults. That was the point. And this is something that's going on in the name of the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. And it's not different than the Gaudiya Mat after Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami's disappearance. These people became cultists. They run cults. And what is a characteristic of a cult? They have a charismatic leader, Nila Shama. That's what they perpetrate. And they get people to wash their feet. They get people to donate money to them. They get people to construct elaborate residences for them. And these people do no work. They do not work. They exploit the innocent. And this is a tragedy beyond words for our disciplic succession. And we should avoid these people at all costs, because they'll contaminate you. And that's the situation that we've seen in Yashoda Nandana myself and our other group see that. When you go around people that have been involved in these so-called Aritvik groups or these ISKCON groups, they're also confused. And it's hard to deal with them. They don't want to listen. They don't have the capacity. They become disqualified. We got Tim Paranjana here in our screen, our senior godbrother. Paranjana Prabhu, do you want to make a comment on today's discussion, please? He does that artwork, by the way.
Hi, Bo.
Haribo, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
catch
that's
you off.
okay.
I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was involved actually at the original point of the Bangalore court case. Madhu Pandit met me in Los Angeles in 1997, just at the time the lawsuit was starting. And he was lifting a bunch of documents off of my website, like the July 9th letter, the will, the Topanga conversations, all these kinds of documents were not really being circulated widely around ISKCON circles at the time. So we were like a resource for that. And those are the documents he submitted into the court, the July 9th letter. So it's partially about property, but the July 9th letter is specifically saying that these people are not appointed as acharyas. So that was part of his submission into the court. These people were not appointed as acharyas. So anyway, he congratulated me and shook my hand, and he said, "We're going to be doing what you're doing now." So it was really a good start for the lawsuit. And I've kind of been helping ever since in different ways. They've asked me questions about things that they needed to submit into the case. But at that time, Diaram was the main instigator of the case. Diaram was Jayapataka's, let's say, his hatchet man, his hatchet man. So Diaram said, "Oh, he went to the GBC meeting and he said, 'Oh, this is going to be easy peasy. Don't worry about it. It's never going to take more than a year. The court will definitely work in our favor. And it's not going to cost more than $1 million.' I mean, he promised that to the GBC. They were a little skeptical, but he promised, oh no, it's never going to take long, and it's never going to cost more than $1 million. He made all these, but then it just turns out year after year after year, they asked for another million, another million, and it just went on and on and on. So, but meanwhile, I think about 3 years ago, he collapsed, physically, and it turns out his kidneys were failing, and he needs dialysis 3 times a week now. So he's in very bad health, along with, Jayapataka and all the rest of the people. Like Bhakti Sharu was collecting money for the lawsuit, and he promised people a little deity of Prabhupada if you would give money for the Bangalore lawsuit. But then a bunch of people found out they didn't get the Prabhupada Murti he promised them, so they were getting ripped off. But he died on the way here collecting money for the lawsuit. He got, COVID and died, so it just seems like Krishna was beating down on their whole program all the time anyway, making it look like they're not on the winning side. But anyway, I think this is a good victory for us on a lot of levels. But obviously, we need to get things going in the West. I mean, Madhu Pandit's in India, and that's good, but we haven't had really much of a development here. But I did get a nice conversation with one of the Bangalore devotees, and he's just a bhakta there, But he really thanked me. He said, if it wasn't for you guys pushing this Prabhupada idea, we would now be worshiping a bunch of fools and clowns and idiots, and we would never be going back to Godhead. We would not be going back to Godhead right now unless you guys really kept beating the drum on this Prabhupada idea. And so he was very thankful to us, those of us who have been, pushing this issue, because now they're all benefiting. Anyway, that's basically all I wanted to say. Thanks, Haribol.
Yes, we are pushing it. We have over 2,000 production hours of preaching online, by the way, Prabhu, and continue to promote that. We appreciate it. Plus, we are going to be, and soon to be announced, distributing unedited books of Srila Prabhupada. And we have over 19 offices, branch offices worldwide that work with us, and hundreds of thousands of views of our classes. And we're helping to cultivate our main centers where there are, in due course of time, will be hundreds of new Prabhupada disciples, not indoctrinated, Dharma Bhavana, not indoctrinated by the ISKCON cult gurus. Rupa Goswami in Bombay, you have your hand up, please. Do you have a comment you could share with us, Rupa Goswami in Bombay? Thank you. Is your microphone, aren't you the host? Can you turn your microphone on? Okay, we don't seem to have him connected.
No, but he doesn't have a question. It was just by mistake. He said it in the chat.
He made a comment in the chat. Do you want to read that, Neelash? Read his comment.
He just said it was a mistake.
My mistake, it raised. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being a part of today's program and discussion. I think we covered a lot of points. And if you missed them, you can go to the channel and review them. They're ever fresh. Lots of quotes from Srila Prabhupada, lots of realizations from our membership. And in this way, we march forward week after week. And time is marching, eh, Neelash? I see it. Neelash marching. And we're surrendering, all of us, to the process of promoting the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society, like Tim Lee was saying. Yes, here in the West, we are the prominent group. We are. No one else is hardly doing anything. Is anybody initiating people? We have people being initiated in Mexico. We have people in Japan. We have people in other parts of Italy, other parts of the world participating with us. Yes, and they are expanding and we are supporting. And in this way, the truth will be revealed to those that are seeking it under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And it's 9:46 a.m. here in Yautepec. So it's time for us to conclude the program. Right now, we're going to have a kirtan by Srila Prabhupada. Please chant along, and then our closing remarks with His Grace Yashodanandana Prabhu. And remember, tomorrow, Srimad Bhagavatam class at the same time, 8 a.m. here in Yautepec. And wherever you are worldwide, tune in and be a part of this ecstatic explanation of the truth of Krishna consciousness for the sincere devotees of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Ki Jai. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances. We all offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everyone for participating in this reading and discussion. Vishwakarma Prabhu in Yotokek, Mexico. Krishna Kata Prabhu in San Diego, California. Vijay Pandit Prabhu and his good wife Gopika Priya in Oroville, Italy. Neil Sharma Prabhu in Florida. And Nirochisa Mataji dans la belle province de Quebec. Pierangelo in Switzerland. Triloka Vijay in Florida. Rupa Goswami Prabhu in Bombay. Amber, Bhaktin Amber in Texas. Forest Temple with the beautiful hats in Baja California. Shiv Narayan Prabhu in Japan. Kanta Prabhu in Trinidad. And everybody participating. Pran Mohini, wherever you are in Houston, Texas. Thanks everybody for participating, and we humbly invite you to come tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, USA, for another discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll be reading from Canto 6 towards the conclusion of the chapter, the discussion between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. Again, please join us tomorrow morning, and thanks everybody for participating. Please join us for the next 2 minutes and so many seconds for a beautiful kirtan with some Vaishnav devotees from Jamaica. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.